It's days like this that really freak me out. Not good. So today we've got another freezing rain warning, and this rain's coming down pretty good. And the problem with the freezing rain is it gets on everything and freezes. For those down south who've never experienced this, or if you're in another country that's never experienced freezing rain, it can be pretty damaging. So I don't know if you can see on the truck here, but what happens is the rain comes down, lands on something, and instantly freezes. So for example, the hydro wires, what happens is it'll land on it, instantly freeze, and it continues to build up and build up and build up. So then you get this massive amount of weight on the hydro lines, as well as trees, fencing, basically anything. The weight just gets compounded by all this ice that keeps building up on it with the rain coming down. So it'll knock off hydro lines, trees will fall over. It can do a ton of damage. And years ago here in Quebec, there was a massive ice storm and it knocked out power for, I want to say it was like 23 days or something. It was pretty crazy. So it's not a good thing to have. One of the other things that happens is right now we've got birds feeding on our sunflowers back here. We left a bunch of the heads on, so the birds have been coming, feeding on the sunflowers. But if the freezing rain continues, it might actually cover up all the heads of the sunflowers, coat it all in ice, and then it's hard for anything to get the seeds. So the freezing rain was supposed to start yesterday, and I took the time yesterday to go down and got a new toy for the tractor. Well, not really a toy. This is a quick hitch bale spear. So it'll go on the front of our 2032R John Deere in place of the bucket. And then I'll be able to basically lift all the round bales with the tractor. Before we were using a chain. So we'd hook a chain around the bucket, hook it on the strings of the big square bales, and put it on the, well, take it off the trailer. And then what we would do is with the other square or the round bales, we'd actually push them out of the trailer. So now I should be able to lift most of the bales out of the trailer with the tractor and put them in the field where I want them. So right now, while the rain has really just started this morning, we want to go into town, pick up some round bales, so we have those bales for the cows and we're prepared for basically the next month. I got to grab some straps, throw them in the truck, and then once we get back, we'll hook that up to the tractor. We'll hook the trailer up now, and we'll head into town, get the round bales, then we'll be able to play with the tractor after that. What I should do too is take some time and get this mess untangled and figure out a system of how to put it up on the wall so it's easier to grab. Usually I have it in the back of the truck and it takes a bit to get it untangled. Got to come up with a better system. One of the things we deal with too is we need a shelter for the trailer. That way, when it snows or rains and fills up with ice and snow, we don't have to empty it to go get hay or use it for other stuff like wood or equipment. It would be ready to go at a moment's notice. Now I got to get all this snow out of here. It's not a big deal. It just adds weight and makes it more awkward. That's all cleaned out. Time to head over, pick up the round bales. One thing I can never figure out is people who drive their cars or vehicles all dressed up in their winter clothes. They've got their toques on, their gloves on, their coats on. I mean, I crank all the heat and everything to melt the snow and the ice on the truck. Make sure it's nice and warm in here so things don't freeze up on the windows. So it gets a little toasty in here. So how people can drive around in their parkas and toques with all that heat, I don't know. I can't. So we're here in the middle of a rainstorm, ice storm in Quebec. What do Quebecers do? Make more ice. Gotta play hockey somehow, right? So another thing we have to deal with here, well, not us, but in town here, is a lot of flooding every spring. This dam, what'll happen is the ice will build up, it'll start jamming up here, and that'll back the water up. So all upstream, it'll start to flood. So it's better when we have a slow melt, and then it gradually disappears rather than everything melting at once, the ice building up here. Usually what they'll do is pretty cool too. If they're worried about a flood, they'll bring in a big excavator on floats, and it'll go up the river digging a trench to allow the water to drain off. Pretty neat to see. Normal day in Quebec here. Stuck behind a snowplow. No problem. Not in any hurry. And I've seen too many accidents too when guys try to pass because they're in a hurry. Can't wait. It's never a good thing. All right, so we made it back to the house okay. The roads aren't too bad. I'm used to driving in that now. But we've got our hay bales ready to go. And the good thing is it's actually warmed up a bit. So it's above freezing right now. So the rain is not sticking to anything or not freezing on top of anything. So that's a really good thing. Hopefully it stays above zero, above freezing for the rest of the day. And then hopefully the rain stops before it cools off too much. As long as it's like this, it's not too bad. But once the temperature drops a bit more, there's that fine line right around the freezing point where it turns to ice. But if it goes below, it turns to snow, and if it stays above, it stays rain. So as long as it doesn't stay too long in that, one temperature, we're okay. The other thing I did while I was in town is I picked up some more gas. Got 2 big jugs, 20 liters. I think it's 5 gallons. Yeah, 5 gallons for the US, 20 liters for us. So that's for the generator. So in case, this goes bad, we can run the generator for a while, no problems. Okay, so it's time to put the bale spear together and see how it works. Oh, Bridget's home from grocery shopping. Yay! that makes it so easy to put on. Be able to switch out the bucket for the bale spear in no problem anytime we get hay now. The big thing is whether this will actually lift those bales now. So what happens is we get two types of bales, a big square and the big rounds like this right here. Now a lot of the time they'll be wrapped, and when they're wrapped, usually what happens is they can be wrapped wet and then they ferment. And what happens is when they're wrapped wet, they're really heavy. So the big squares we get are actually quite light, and the tractor has no problem lifting them because they're so dry. But I'm not sure if these ones, we haven't handled these ones before, so I don't know if they're dry or wet. So we'll see how the tractor does. Alright, that bale spear just made my life so much easier. That's just amazing. So I was able to pick up that round bale out of the trailer. I already took the other one down to the other field. This one I was able to lift up, take the plastic off outside of the paddock, outside the field, and then put it in the wagon there. So that just makes my life so much simpler, so much easier. It's a big help. I'm really liking that. So guys, thanks again for watching. I'll keep you posted on the ice storm, see if that happens. If it does, it'll be an interesting video for sure. But I'm going to bring the tractor back in, switch the bucket, put it back on instead of the bale spears, just in case something does happen with this ice storm. Then I'll have the bucket ready to go. So thanks again guys for checking us out. Make sure you get down there, hit that subscribe, hit that like button. Be sure to leave us a comment as well. And if you have any questions too about like our climate, our environment up here with the ice and the rain and the snow, be sure to leave it there in the comments and I'll answer it. Thanks again guys, love ya.